Dear students, today we will discuss on the topic helminth parasites from BSc Part 1. So before starting, we will discuss about some important terminologies which will be used in this topic, and these are very simple terminologies you must have studied in your previous classes. So first terminology is parasite. A parasite is an organism that lives in or on an organism of another species known as host. So what it does on host, it obtains the nourishment, it takes the shelter from the host. So here we define it as eating at the expense of certain other species called as host, and it is biologically and economically associated with the host throughout their life. And certain parasite which causes the disease in the host, they are called as pathogen. Now coming to pathogenic helminth of a man, that is the helminths which cause diseases in man. So now what are helminths? Helminths, they are organisms which belong to phylum Platyhelminths or Esculminths, and they are either ectoparasite or endoparasite. Ectoparasite means they live on the surface of host, and endoparasite means they live inside the host. So all the helminths, they are parasitic in their mode of life except the members of class Turbularia. So Platyhelminths, phylum Platyhelminth has three classes: Turbularia, Trematoda and Cestoda, and Esculminths has one important class which is called as Nematoda. Sorry. So all these classes, that is all the three classes of phylum Platyhelminth and one class of phylum Nematoda. So out of these four classes, only one class Turbularia is non-parasitic class. Rest of the classes, they are parasitic. So all those helminths in the classes other than Turbularia, they are parasitic in their mode of life. So helminths, they are divided into three main groups: Cestoda, cestodes, second is trematode, third is nematode. Cestodes, they are tapeworm which are long, flat, segmented and exclusively endoparasites. Second class is Trematoda. Trematodes, they are flukes that are flat, leaf shaped and non-segmented. They are mainly ectoparasite. Third group is nematodes. Nematodes, they are roundworms which are long, thin, non-segmented, cylindrical worms. They are ectoparasite as well as endoparasites. So the disease caused by helminths, they are called as helminthiasis. So if the cestode, they cause the disease, it is called as cestodiasis. If the trematodes, they cause the disease, it is known as trematodiasis. And if the nematodes, they cause the disease is called as nematodiasis. Now coming to human helminths parasites. So five main helminths are there which are parasites on humans, and these are Cystostoma, Ancylostoma, duodenale. Third parasite is Trichinella spiralis. Fourth parasite is Wuchereria bancrofti. Fifth parasite is Antrobius vermicularis. So we will discuss one by one in detail. First parasite is Cystostoma. Cystostoma is called as blood fluke as it is found in human blood throughout the world. In Egypt, 60% of the population is infected with this parasite, and it has three main species: Cystostoma hematobium, Cystostoma mansoni and Cystostoma japonicum. So we will study about the difference in these three species of Cystostoma. So the difference is on the basis of size, their blood vessel inhabited, their intermediate host, and based on their geographical distribution. So first species of cystostoma is Cystostoma hematobium. Here you can see there is a difference in the size of male and female in both in all the three species. So it shows the sexual dimorphism. So sexual dimorphism is a phenomena in which we can distinguish the male and female externally based on their external characters. So cystostoma hematobium, it inhabits pelvic vein as it is found in blood vessels, so it inhibits pelvic vein. Its intermediate host is Bullneus snail, and its distribution is in Africa, Palestine, Iraq, Portugal, and Australia. Now coming to second species of cystostoma, Cystostoma mansoni. Here also you can see there is a difference in size of male and female, and it inhabits inferior mesenteric vein. Its intermediate host is Planorbis, and distribution it is found in Africa, tropical America. Third species is Cystostoma japonicum. Here also you can see there is a difference in male and female size, and it inhabits hepatic portal and superior mesenteric vein, and its intermediate host is Oncomelania snail, and it is found in China, Japan, Formosa, and Philippines. Now coming to morphology of cystostoma. Cystostoma is unisexual, and it shows the sexual dimorphism as we have studied in the previous slide. We have studied the differences in the size of male and female in all those the three species of cystostoma, where the female in all the three species, female is slender, longer, cylindrical, and permanently lies in the gynecophoral canal of male. And the body surface of cystostoma is rough and spiny. So in cystostoma there is internal fertilization and capsule formation. Now coming to life cycle of cystostoma. So we have studied the cystostoma, it lives in the blood vessel, so that's why it is called as blood fluke. And in the diagram, in the bottom of the diagram you can see the three capsules of the three species of cystostoma, that is Cystostoma mansoni, Cystostoma japonicum, and Cystostoma hematobium. So these capsules, they are released in intestine or in the bladder by the rupturing of the blood vein, and it is discharged out of the body via feces or via urine. So these capsules, they are liberated in feces or urine, and these capsules, when they are discharged out of the body, it develops into the Miracidium larva. And now this Miracidium larva, in the step 2 you can see these capsules, they have hatched into Miracidium larva. Now this Miracidium larva, it will penetrate the snail tissue, it will enter its intermediate host where it will undergo the rest of its developmental process. So after entering its intermediate host, this Miracidium larva, it undergoes transformation into sporocyst. Now this sporocyst, it undergoes the polyembryony, where it forms the successive generations of sporocyst. Now this sporocyst, it convert into Furcocercaria. Here in the cystostoma, there is no radius stage and there is no metacercaria stage. So after the sporocyst formation, there forms Furcocercaria. Now this Furcocercaria is released from the snail into the water, and now this free swimming cercaria, it now is ready to enter in the it is ready to enter in its primary host, that is human. So this Furcocercaria, it come out of the snail body into the open water, and the man, when he drinks the water, or he do bathing or swimming and comes in contact with the water contaminated with Cercaria, he gets the infection. So this is how uh, its life cycle happens. So this is the graphical representation of the life cycle of cystostoma. So we have already discussed. So in the intestine, there is male fluke, male and female fluke are there. Copulation takes place in the intestine. So where the sperms and ovum are liberated from the adult male and female fluke, they undergo fertilization. There is formation of capsules which are passed into the intestine, and it is egested out. The egested out via urine or via feces. Now this material uh, egested material contains capsules. The capsules on hatching, they convert into first larval stage miracidium. Miracidium has penetration glands which enables it to enter in its intermediate host, that is snail. So in the snail, the miracidium larva gets transformed into sporocyst. Now this sporocyst, it undergoes the several generations of sporocyst, and it forms the Furcocercaria. Now this Furcocercaria is the infective stage of larva, and it penetrates the human through skin. Now coming to epidemiology. What is epidemiology? Epidemiology is study of spread of the disease. That is how the disease is spread. So human infection is direct. So human gets the infection when he drinks the contaminated water of Furcocercaria, or or any direct contact in any form with water. So now this Cercaria, it penetrates through the human skin, generally of the foot, with the help of penetration glands during bathing or during washing. So infection may also occur with contaminated water. So this is how the disease spread in human. Now, pathogenicity of cystostoma. Penetration of the skin by Furcocercaria, it causes skin inflammation, and it is called as cercarial dermatitis. So the pathogenicity is the disease producing capacity of a pathogen. So pathogen, it can cause cercarial dermatitis, it can cause intestinal cystostomiasis, where there is capsule penetration through intestinal wall. Also, it can cause cardiopulmonary cystostomiasis, which is characterized by fever, pain, enlargement of liver and spleen, dysfunctioning of brain, lungs, heart, and gonads, improper physical, mental, sexual growth leading to death, and bladder injuries, bladder stones, and hematuria. Hematuria is presence of blood in urine. And this cardiopulmonary cystostomiasis is also known as bilharziasis. So this was about cystostoma. Now coming to second parasitic helminth of women, it is Ancylostoma duodenale. It is called as hookworm. So its habitat and distribution, it is Cenozoic endoparasite. It is found in small intestine of men, especially in jejunum, and it is widely distributed in all tropical and subtropical countries, mainly southern Europe, North Africa, and Asian countries like India, Sri Lanka, and North China. And about 25% of the world population is infected by hookworm. It feeds on blood and intestinal tissue. Now coming to morphology of Ancylostoma, it is unisexual and shows a sexual dimorphism. In the diagram, you can see the male is elongated while the female Male is short in size and female is long in size. Um, it is elongated and cylindrical. Male is small and about 8 millimeter in size, and female is long about 12 millimeter in length. So, in both male and female, the anterior end has large buccal capsule having 6 cutting plates or the teeth. So, these teeth they help in attachment of worm with the intestinal wall of host. So now there is a difference in male hookworm and female hookworm. The first difference is in its size. The male hookworm is small in size while female hookworm is larger in size. Second difference is in their posterior opening. The posterior opening in case of male is cloacal aperture, which has copulatory spicules, while in case of the female the posterior end is anus with no copulatory spicules. And the third difference is copulatory bursa. In case of male hookworm, copulatory bursa is present at the posterior end, while in case of the female hookworm, no copulatory bursa is present and posterior end is tapered into caudal spine. So this is the difference between male and female hookworm, and that's why it is known to exhibit the sexual dimorphism. Now coming to life cycle of Ancylostoma. So the hookworm is monogenetic nematode, that is it completes its life cycle in a single host, that is man. So fertilization is internal and copulation it occurs in the intestine of host, and copulation occurs in the intestine of host, and fertilization it occurs in the seminal receptacle of female. So female is oviparous, that is it lays the egg, and it lays the egg in the intestine. So in the intestine it lays the eggs at the rate of 9,000 eggs or the 9,000 capsules per day. Now these capsules they are ejected out or egested out via feces, and they develop into rhabditiform larva. This rhabditiform larva it undergoes two molds and it forms the filariform larva. This filarial form larva it is ready to infect the human when it penetrates the skin of human. So here is the graphical representation of life cycle of Ancylostoma. So in the intestine, adult male and adult female are present. So when the fertilization occurs, capsules they are formed, and capsules they are released out with fecal matter. These capsules, when they come in contact with environment, they convert into first juvenile or rhabditiform larva. Here, after transforming into here they transform into filariform larva after two molds, and this filariform larva it penetrates the human through the skin. After penetration, the larva it enters into the blood. From the blood it enters the heart, and then lungs, then pharynx, and then intestine. And intestine is the organ where it resides in, where the copulation occurs, and this cycle it continues. Now pathogenicity of Ancylostoma. Ancylostoma cause heavy infection of Ancylostoma causes encyclostomiasis, which is characterized by gastrointestinal dysfunctioning, severe anemia, physical and mental deficiency. Migratory larvae they can cause the hemorrhage and bronchial pneumonitis in lungs, and infertility. Third helminth parasite is Trichinella spiralis or Trichinella worm. So it is considered as one of the smallest known nematode which infects the man. So its habitat and distribution. Adult Trichinella is Cenozoic endoparasite of small intestine of man, while young forms they are present in pig muscles. It also occurs in mammals like dog and rat, and it is of wide occurrence in Europe and USA, but it is absent from the tropics. Now morphology, it is unisexual, it shows sexual dimorphism. Male is small and has a pair of conical caudal processes but no copulatory spicules, while female is long and has anus but no caudal processes. So here in the diagram figure 6 you can see there is a male and female Trichinella spiralis. Male is short, male has caudal processes at the posterior end, while the female has anus and no caudal processes at the posterior end. Now coming to life cycle of Trichinella spiralis. So fertilization is internal and it occurs in small intestine of man. So female develops 1500 to 2000 juveniles in her body, and females when it holds the intestine and lays the juvenile in the lymph and in the blood capillaries, and from there these juveniles they are carried to voluntary muscles where these coil up to form a cyst, especially in tongue, eye, limb and diaphragm, and finally these cysts become calcified. So here in the figure 7 you can see that these juveniles they migrate to the voluntary muscles and where they coil up to form a cyst. So now this infection to the pigs occurs by eating the discarded pieces of meat in the slaughterhouses containing ancestral larvae. Now coming to epidemiology, human infection is direct and oral, in which cyst of nematode enters into the human body by taking the raw or improperly cooked pork. The larvae are liberated in the intestine, feed and grow into adults. Pathogenicity of Trichinella. Trichinella can cause trichinosis. So light infection, they are usually asymptomatic, while in case of heavy infection, intestinal invasion can be accompanied by gastrointestinal symptoms like diarrhea, abdominal pain and vomiting. And also larval migration into muscle tissues can cause the periorbital and facial edema, conjunctivitis, fever, myalgias, splinter hemorrhages, rashes and blood eosinophilia. So next helminth parasite is Wuchereria bancrofti. It is called as filarial worm. So its habitat and distribution, it is serious endoparasitic nematode which is found in lymph vessels and lymph nodes of a man. Man is the primary host of Wuchereria bancrofti, and the developing stages called as microfilariae, they are found in saliva of female mosquitoes like Aedes, Culex and Anopheles. These are secondary host. The mosquitoes they act as secondary host. So this filarial worm life cycle is digenetic, that is it has two hosts to complete its life cycle. It is cosmopolitan in distribution and is mainly confined to tropical and subtropical countries, and in India it mainly occurs in Rajasthan, Punjab, Delhi and parts of UP. Now coming to morphology, unisexual, shows sexual dimorphism. So adult worms they are long, transparent, hair-like filiform with tapering ends. In the figure 8 you can see. So male is 2 to 4 centimeter and female is 8 to 10 in length. So head end has a rounded swelling but mouth lacks the lips. So in the figure 8 you can see the mouth lacks the lips. So sexual dimorphism in the filarial worm. So here is the difference. Male worm is smaller and female worm is longer. Tail of male is curved ventrally while the female is narrow, pointed and straight. Posterior opening in case of male is cloacal aperture while in case of female is anus. Male bears the copulatory spicules and it is 2 in number and unequal, while the female, in case of female copulatory spicules, they are absent. In case of the male, genital papillae are present and in case of female, genital papillae are absent. So here is the life cycle of Wuchereria bancrofti. So fertilization is internal and female is ovoviviparous and it releases microfilariae in the lymph vessel. So in the diagram you can see in the step 2 there are adults in intestine, in the lymph vessel, in the lymph vessels there are adults, so they produce the microfilariae that migrates into the lymph and into the blood. Now these microfilariae, they show the nocturnal periodicity. Nocturnal periodicity means that is they migrate to superficial blood vessels in the night, that is they migrate towards the outermost layer of skin in the night and in the deeper vessels in the day. So it enables the so this nocturnal periodicity, it enables their sucking by the nocturnal vectors. So in this way, so these microfilariae, they are taken by the mosquito and now this mosquito, inside the mosquito, these microfilariae, they enters the thoracic muscles and in the thoracic muscles they undergo 2 molds and they convert into the infective stage of third larval stage, and after converting into third larval stage they enters the labium of mouth. So when the mosquito bites the human, these microfilariae which is now in the labium of the mouth, they enters inside the human body and they penetrates the skin and they come in lymph vessels of human. So in this way the life cycle continues. Now epidemiology. Human infection is indirect and inoculate in which microfilariae are injected in the blood of man along with the saliva of the vector mosquitoes. Now pathogenicity. These filarial worm, it causes filariasis which is characterized by fever, proliferation of endothelial cells and deposition of metabolites in the walls of lymph vessels. Also, it is characterized by lymphatic obstructions leading to enormous swelling of certain body parts like arms, legs, scrotal sacs, etc. Also, there is accumulation of lymph in certain organs which can cause the lymphoedema, and swollen parts, they appear as if elephant leg, so it is called as elephantiasis. Now coming to last human helminth parasite, that is Antrobius vermicularis or oxyoris. It is called as pinworm. So its habitat and distribution, it is most common intestinal endoparasitic nematode of men, especially in children. Adult worms, they inhabit the cecum, appendix and upper part of colon, and it is monogenetic nematodes, that is it completes its life cycle only in men. It is cosmopolitan, but it is more common in Europe and America. In some communities 40 to 100% of the population may be infected. Coming to morphology of Antrobius, it is unisexual, shows sexual dimorphism. In the figure 13 you can see the female is longer in size and the male is small sized with curved tail and single copulatory spicules, while female is long and has a pointed and long tail. Both the sexes has pair of cephalic alae and mouth is bounded by 3 lips. So here in the diagram you can see mouth is surrounded by cephalic alae. Fertilization is internal and female is oviparous. Now coming to life cycle of Enterobius, female is oviparous, female lays the eggs, gravid female, it migrates to the anal region during the night and releases many eggs in the perineal area of skin. So here in the eggs in the perineal larvae, so they mature within 4 to 6 hours and the infection occurs when these eggs they are ingested by the humans. Now epidemiology. So this disease can spread from environment or from auto-infection, that is when female crawls out of the anus and releases the eggs on the perineal region. The patient feels anus proteus. Scratching leads to contamination of hands and nails and then by hand mouth resulting reinfection. Second mode is retroinfection. So some eggs which hatch on the perineal skin, they become larvae and they will crawl back into the anus and they mature into adults. Now coming to pathogenicity of Enterobius. Enterobiasis is the disease caused by Enterobius and it is the medical condition of being infected with pinworm. It is asymptomatic other than itching of the anus due to excretions of female worm. So children may experience the loss of appetite, abdominal pain, indigestion, nausea, vomiting and restlessness. So irritation of genitalia may occur due to pinworm infection. Thank you.